Hey there YouTube, it's 118 Seth Shadow here. So originally I was doing some card reviews and deck profiles on such set for Yu-Gi-Oh in particular. Now I'm basically switching it over to Vanguard for this time, and probably for future times too, because now I'm playing Vanguard instead of Yu-Gi-Oh. Anyway, from some other videos, I mentioned that I got my 2 boxes of set 3 in. And I pulled this card out of them, which is the card I was planning to do a card review on, assuming I pulled it. This is the Goddess of the Full Moon, Tsukuyomi. So, just to go over some quick specs of it. This unit is an Oracle Think Tank unit, and it's a noble. It's got 11,000 power. And its abilities? If you do not have Half Moon Tsukuyomi, Crescent Moon Tsukuyomi, and God Hawk Ichibyoshi in your soul, it'll get minus 2,000 power. And its second ability, if the number of Oracle Think Tanks in your soul is 6 or more, you draw 2 cards, then choose a card from your hand and put it in the soul. It's a Vanguard only ability, and it requires a counterblast of 2. So, just a quick discussion of this card. This is one of the evolving series type of cards. And the cards you need in order to use it to its full efficiency are God Hawk Ichibyoshi, which is your starter Vanguard, followed by Goddess of the Crescent Moon, Tsukuyomi, followed by Goddess of the Half Moon, Tsukuyomi, and then this is the last one. So, to basically use its full power, this is how it works. Ichibyoshi, well, they basically all have the same ability except for Tsukuyomi because it's the last part. What you do is confirm the top 5 cards of your deck, and if the next stage of the evolution is among those 5, you can superior ride it right away. However, if you do that, you cannot ride this turn. You can't perform a normal ride this turn. So basically, what you do is God Hawk into Tsukuyomi. Then you do the same thing with Half Moon. Half Moon, if you put it on the Vanguard circle and you have Crescent Moon and Ichibyoshi in your soul, you may soul charge 2 cards. After that, you ride the Full Moon. Now, since you have Half Moon, Crescent Moon, and God Hawk in your soul, this card will retain its full 11,000 power. If by any chance one of them is missing, if even one of them is missing, it's going to go down to 9,000 power, making it rather weak as a Vanguard. So I'm just going to discuss a few methods, because the ride chain is not always going to go off smoothly. The main thing you need to do first off, in order to ensure a good defensive ability, is make sure you have these 3 in soul if you're going to be riding this card. So some ways to do it otherwise from actually using the ride chain in particular. There's a new card in the set called Red Eye. This card allows you to soul charge a card whenever it hits. So, if you're able to soul charge any of these cards that you're missing before you can ride Tsukuyomi, or even if you rode it already and you need the other pieces, this card will be at full power in that case. Of course, you're not always guaranteed to do so because the top card of your deck is random, but that's what Oracle Think Tank is all about. Usually you can confirm and swap around the top card of your deck using cards like CEO and Kokoa. Circle Magus as well, but it doesn't allow you to swap. It just lets you see what your next card is going to be. So those are just some methods to be able to make sure Tsukuyomi will always be at full power. Now for its second ability. If the number of Oracle Think Tanks in your soul is 6 or more, you can do the draw ability. But let's look at some numbers here. Ichibyoshi. Ride the Crescent Moon. Ride Half Moon. Half Moon's ability. You have Ichibyoshi and Crescent Moon, so just for the sake of it. Soul Charge 2. Now you ride the full moon. But there's something wrong here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're 1 short. So, this is a clever way that the game has prevented you from actually using Tsukuyomi's special ability, even if you get the full ride chain off. Which is where cards like this come in. Red Eye, you're allowed to soul charge 1 every time it hits. So if you soul charge 1 more with Red Eye, you'll instantly have access to the Counterblast ability. Other ways of doing it, you can use Psychic Bird. When you have an Oracle Think Tank unit, you can put it into the soul and draw a card. Now you have 6. If you don't have either of those methods, there is the one other somewhat reliable method, or pretty much reliable. Our good old friend yugioh Amaterus. When you put that one on the soul, you can soul charge 1 every single turn. Well, you have to soul charge 1 every single turn. Or the alternate method is just to play a grade 3 and then ride Tsukuyomi next turn, because then you'll have 6 cards in soul as long as you got the ride chain off. Mainly if you got Half Moon off. Otherwise you're going to need to soul charge a lot more in order to get the 6 cards you need. And most of the cards for the Tsukuyomi series are mostly going to rely on having 6 cards in soul all the time. That's usually how a deck centered around Tsukuyomi will probably end up being. Trying to draw out more cards for more advantage, and also trying to manipulate your deck and your hand. Using cards maybe like Blue Eye or some of the other cards which let you draw a card and then replace a card. Personally though, you'll probably have to wait until set 5 to actually get full use of Tsukuyomi's abilities with the soul. Otherwise at this point, it's just going to be a cycling strategy and a drawing strategy. So that concludes my first Vanguard card review, and it's Full Moon Goddess Tsukuyomi from the new Booster Set 3. Hope you enjoyed, guys.